were all getting prepared, my husband and I, our sons, and just the rest of the community for Hurricane Irma. And unfortunately, my husband lost his life during that hurricane unexpectedly. So absolute devastation. Wonderful husband and father. We were married for decades and we have sons. So needless to say, it changed everything that evening of the storm. Not just the storm, but our lives. Bigger storm even in our lives. Just started putting thoughts together, have a great group, family and friends and resources, and they were just fantastic, very helpful, and recommended one-stop housing to me. And I immediately made an appointment. I was very impressed with the warmth, feeling very welcomed. I liked the atmosphere of diversity. So the first impression was good. I was excited, nervous, but excited. It's just a family atmosphere and community where you look out for each other. The lawns are always immaculate. The management is wonderful, not only taking care of us, and we have housing now, but just making us feel warm and welcome. And that's what I love about one-stop housing. They just want to help people. My husband took care of all the bills. He provided. He was our provider. And this is on me now, and I am new at it. I had no understanding about any of it, but I'm learning with one-stop housing's help.
One-stop housing was formed out of a vision and a mission from my father, Harvey Bancroft. To hear everyone's story is really touching, and it hits your heart, and to know that what you do for a living is helping people. But I have to say that one-stop isn't one person. It's a whole series. It's a whole team of people that all kind of share in the same mission. Every one of the folks that work for us or work as part. I didn't even say they work for us because we're really a family. We all believe that we're making a difference. We don't give handouts, we give hand-ups, and we believe that by providing an affordable space for people to live, they can then in turn take that pride, take advantage of that, and then better themselves.
And when Paul and I were talking to Mark on the phone, he couldn't be here tonight because of a board meeting conflict, I asked him how did he get into this kind of landlording, and he told us the story about his dad, that his dad owned a big business, it was a call center, and their employees could not find affordable housing. So Mark's dad bought property and said, live here. And then he started doing that in other places, and it has spread. So from the beginning, they figured out how to make it work. And I asked him, well, how do you make a profit at, what, 700 something?
775.
775 a month? One thing, all their work is done in-house, is how he put it. So everybody's on staff. And for any of you in Celebration who have hired a contractor to do anything, well, there's a cost savings if you've got someone on site who can do the work. Very impressive. And we have one more clip.
Yeah, this was a news piece from Spectrum News 15.
Backlot Apartments is Mariloni Soto's home. She came from Venezuela, and this was the most affordable living situation she could find in Kissimmee. In Spanish, she tells me. I'm eternally grateful for this complex. They're one of a kind. But there's a waiting list to get into Backlot Apartments, quantifying the need.
We're full, but we get about 120 to 150 calls a day of good folks that are just looking for a place to live that's affordable, and we have to turn them down.
Backlot Apartments recently offered the first dose for the COVID-19 vaccine. They're also doing telehealth services on site and a health clinic on wheels. And on Fridays, the nonprofit Embrace Celebration swings by with boxes of fresh food.
Not only first, I think we're the only that I'm aware of that are putting all of these services together to help our tenants and the community.
So that's what Mark has been up to. It seems wildly successful. And you heard him say it, it's not a handout, it's a handout. And he has that history. And as a model, it seems like it's a very good model. And I know there's a lot of issues that have to be dealt with and made, but it's possible. It's possible, and that's what we have to hold on to is possibilities. Possibilities based in reality. And this is real. This isn't a dream. And how many properties did he say he has?
19.
19 properties, and I'm not sure how many people he's serving, but it's a lot.
It's a backlog of 300 units.
Yeah, 300 units in
And
backlog.
would love
So
to buy also more.
if you multiply 19 by, get by 250, let's say, that's a lot of folks.
And this brings up something that you and I talked about on the phone, about how this touches on the master plan for our county, actually. And could you share with us what the point you were making about how tourism in the 70s and 80s could be very different from tourism now?
Gotcha. Will Cooper, Hope Partnership. We were talking earlier today, and one of the things that we look at as an organization, again, how we advocate for our clients on a one-on-one basis, but also at larger jurisdictional, state, federal. And it's something we've been having a conversation with in other organizations is, what is, tourism is at our heart, but what does that mean? Is the part of 192 where a lot of these older motels, is that going to come back as the main tourism hub? People come and stay here instead of going to stay at Disney or Universal or in that bubble. And so, what can we advocate for as citizens with our elected officials and the people that work at our wonderful county and cities about what planning looks like to bring in a new type of tourism? I don't know how many people, when we can travel, when these things are on our faces and it's not COVID times, I've been to plenty of cities where I go out to a community that isn't the tourism section of that town to have dinner, to go into shops, because it's a nice place. So what does it mean for us to consider having nice places for the people that live and work here as well, that then others want to come to? So that's just a concept that, as we think we have these conversations, as we continue to look at what tourism means for us, I think that's a conversation to have. While I'm standing here, I've got some fun notes. As we've been talking and throwing around workforce housing, affordable housing, all these fun things. Stories are wonderful. I'm a person who thrives on numbers, so I'll fill that spot for just a moment. When we talk about affordable housing, there's a state definition. So there's a definition for what meets the requirements for affordable housing. For something to be affordable means that monthly rents or monthly mortgage payments, including taxes, insurance, and utilities, don't exceed 30% of the amount which represents a percentage of the median adjusted gross income for a household. Big fancy words. So for it to be affordable for a household, it can't be more than 30% of the area median income. The area median income for our area is now $70,800 a year. So again, for it to be affordable at that rate, we'll pull up those numbers, 30%, that's someone making $21,000, just over that a year, which equates to $10.21 an hour. So as we talk about increasing the minimum wage, that's wonderful. But when we look at 50% of AMI, someone who's making $35,400 a year, that's $17 an hour. And that's still not at the area median income. So some of this conversation is housing and some of it is employment. And what does it look like to be training our workforce to have jobs that can sustain and can thrive. Unit deficit, as we're talking about the housing and the crisis, we have 28 units for every 100 households in our Tri-County Central Florida area at those income levels of 30 to 50% of the area median income. So we have 28 units every 100 households in that kind of affordable definition who need them. That means that we are at a deficit. I have it here, don't mind me. Around 110,000 units are in that area. And again, that's not talking about people who are still making 70,000 plus and are struggling to find something, because rents have gone up on average of about 26% from January to June of this year in Central Florida. We talked about earlier, rents are increasing. We're seeing it all over the place. It's becoming harder and harder to find something that's affordable, even for people who have good, well-paying jobs. And that's squeezing then even more folks are making less, because places that would have been potentially serving them could make a little bit less. Well, those things are clogged up by people who make more but don't have a place then they can go to afford the next level. So these are all types of things. When we talk about affordable housing, we also want to talk about housing that's the right fit for everyone in the community. Are we building things that work for everyone? Single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes, multi-family developments, all of those things. When we talk about affordable housing, we want to talk about the full gamut, because we need it for the entire community to thrive.
Thank you.
Stop now.
Thank you very much. As someone who does not think in numbers, I thought, excellent. You can talk about that.